Why Kaspa? This is a question that people have asked me multiple times when we start talking about mining in particular. Many of you know that I have a mining farm down in Paraguay with Bitcoin, and recently, not too long ago, started mining Kaspa in the United States. The simple answer right off the bat was, well, money, right? Ultimately, I was making a lot more money, or was told that I was going to make a lot more money mining Kaspa than Bitcoin. But there's a lot of reasons as to why I would say I choose Kaspa over Bitcoin. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that you shouldn't hold Bitcoin. And I'm not saying that Kaspa is better than Bitcoin, but I'm saying that there are a lot of things involved in the Kaspa ecosystem that do trump what Bitcoin is doing. Kaspa is the second largest proof of work blockchain in the world. And they've got a number of advantages over Bitcoin, as would a lot of newer technology coming into the space. So a lot of people will always claim, we're the next Bitcoin, we're this, we're that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you're looking for opportunity for an asset that does what Bitcoin does and maybe actually does it better, Kaspa would be an option. So let me talk to you about a few different things. First of all, scalability and throughput. So Kaspa uses this thing called Ghost DAG protocol. It allows for really high block throughput without compromising security and decentralization. It enables blocks to be created simultaneously, all at the same time, and then integrated into that main chain without the risk of what they call orphan blocks, which increases the network scalability and transaction throughput. While Bitcoin, on the other hand, its scalability is limited by its 10-minute block time. That's it, right? That translates to approximately 7 transactions per second. So trying to scale Bitcoin like the Lightning Network introduces complexities and off-chain transactions, etc. Second thing, confirmation times. This is a really important one. Due to the consensus mechanism from Kaspa, it can confirm transactions a lot faster, right? Blocks are generated every single second, providing near instant, what they call transaction finality. Whereas Bitcoin, they usually require multiple block confirmations to be considered secure, leading to confirmation times that can range from several minutes to over an hour. That depends on obviously network congestion. So then we go over and people will say, well, if that's the case in terms of confirmation, we need to talk about security. Well, I agree. Thank you for bringing that up. The Ghost DAG protocol ensures that the high security incorporated into all the blocks into a single directed acyclic graph structure. It makes it resistant to attacks and allows for a higher degree of decentralization. Bitcoin's security model relies on, yes, proof of work. It's proof of work consensus mechanism. Kaspa is proof of work as well. Kaspa is just doing it with the Ghost DAG protocol, which takes it another step up. The linear blockchain structure that Bitcoin has can be vulnerable to attacks if a majority of the network's hashing power is controlled by a single entity. So decentralization, right? We've seen massive corporations coming in, and massive corporations are coming in on Kaspa as well, but they're going to have a harder time taking over in the Kaspa ecosystem because of this Ghost DAG protocol. So with Kaspa, its design supports greater decentralization by allowing miners to produce all of these blocks simultaneously, which is reducing incentives for the mining centralization. This leads to a more distributed network. While Bitcoin, it's faced issues with that, right? Decentralization, where these large mining pools contribute or control a significant portion of the network's hash rate. This centralization does what? Well, it poses risk to the network's security and governance. Then finally, we have innovation and development. Kaspa, which is going to be a newer project, obviously, it benefits from the latest research and development in blockchain technology, period. Its design incorporates lessons learned from Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the OG. Bitcoin is the number one. It's learned from Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which enables it to address existing shortcomings. Bitcoin, right? It's number one. It's the pioneer. It's developed a more conservative and slow moving approach, but it's got a really diverse community. So implementing changes requires extensive consensus, which obviously could delay some of those advancements. And you could look at that as being good, bad, or indifferent, right? So there's several fundamental improvements on Kaspa over Bitcoin in terms of scalability, confirmation time, security, decentralization, innovation. However, I want to be clear, Bitcoin remains the most established and widely recognized crypto. It's got a massive network and significant market dominance. So each has their strengths. So the choice between them depends on what are you trying to get from it. The market cap of Kaspa is somewhere around $4 billion. I don't have it sitting in front of me. While we're looking at Bitcoin, We're over $1 trillion. This is a massive, massive difference. How can that play out for you? Well, in terms of mining, you're going to be able to get a lot more ROI, return on your investment, mining Kaspa. Also, in terms of the electrical power and pull that you're spending to mine Bitcoin versus Kaspa, Kaspa is just a flat fee every single month, no matter how many terahash the miner that you have is. Whereas Bitcoin, you know, hey, you're pulling some wild, wild numbers. So for me, Kaspa makes sense. I love Bitcoin. I'll always hold Bitcoin. I'm not saying that Kaspa is the greater of the two, but I'm saying there are a number of things within the Kaspa ecosystem that could be fantastic for you to look into. Question everything. Trust nothing.